Welcome to Coffee with Viking. I am Mike. Cheers. How to live the holy life. Leviticus 19:2. You must be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy. The first half of Leviticus deals with sacrifices and other religious rituals, but the last half is a guidebook about daily behavior and holy living. God doesn't expect perfection because he knows with us there is no perfection. But he does expect that the behavior of the Israelites will serve as a testimony to the world that they are devoted to God, set apart and reserved for his use. The Israelites are holy in much the same way that furnishings in the worship center are holy. A lampstand could be ritually cleansed and then devoted for use only to the worship tent. It couldn't be used for secular purposes, such as lighting a family supper. There are certain things the Israelites aren't allowed to do as well. No incest or homosexual acts, which actually falls upon the Christian look too. The Christian way of living is actually based a lot on the stuff here, minus the animal sacrifices, because the last sacrifice was Christ Jesus. No child sacrifices, which is also why Christians in the Jewish nation are pro-life and are 100% against abortion because we know it's murder. No work on the Sabbath day of rest. No lying or cheating. There are also certain responsibilities the Israelites have to fulfill. Among them, respect their parents, which is a big one. Generously help the poor and strangers in the land, which falls under something Jesus said is one of the greatest commandments, which was to love our brother or our fellow man as we would love ourselves, and to treat them as we would want to be treated. And one duty Jesus made famous: love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18, Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. And your neighbor isn't the person that lives next to you. It is all of your fellow man and woman. It is everybody. By observing these rules for holy living, the Israelites maintained their sacred relationship with God, and when they sinned, rituals of sacrifice provided forgiveness for those who were genuinely repentant. But now, whenever we fall into a sin or mess up and do something that goes against God and his holy word and teachings, we don't go into the animal sacrifice anymore or the wheat sacrifice. We just open up our hearts and repent in the name of Jesus Christ for our sins. And we do this wholeheartedly and 100% repentant. Seven Jewish holy days. These are the Lord's appointed festivals. Celebrate them each year. And that's from Leviticus 23:37. These are the feasts of the Lord which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon this day. In addition to the Sabbath day of rest and worship, from sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday, the Israelites observed 7 religious holidays. Many Jews today still observe these festivals, which stretch from March through October. And as a custodian over at Indiana University, we actually just set up and then tore down when it was over and cleaned after one of these holidays. It was the Jewish New Year that we wound up getting prepared and then cleaning up after. Passover. One day each spring at a family meal, Israelites retold the story of God freeing the Israel slaves in Egypt. Bread with no yeast, or unleavened bread. 1 week beginning the day after Passover, this recalled the Israelite slaves leaving Egypt in such a hurry that they didn't have time to let the bread dough rise. First fruits. One day, Israelites thank God for the first of the springtime barley harvest. The day of Pentecost, also called harvest or weeks, one day held 50 days after the festival of first fruits to thank God for the continued harvest. Trumpets, or Rosh Hashanah in Hebrew. I hope I said that right. One day each fall, musicians blew trumpets to mark the beginning of the Jewish New Year, which is actually the one I was talking about that they had set up a couple days ago. The Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur in Hebrew. One day each fall, a nationwide day of repentance. And then shelters, also called booths or tabernacles. 1 week, Jews camped out in huts, in lean-tos. It was to remember how God protected the Israelites during the Exodus. Passover lamb on a stick. Passover lambs grill above a pit fire in Israel. Jews stopped sacrificing animals after Romans tore down the Jerusalem temple in AD 70. But Samaritans, a religious group that observes the laws of Moses, didn't worship in Jerusalem. A small community of Samaritans still sacrifice lambs each Passover. And I don't know too much about those other celebrations, but I was a bit of a witness to the trumpets or the New Year. And let me tell you, that can get a little rowdy. And they definitely have a good time celebrating that one. But the fact that I think it's amazing, the fact that they still celebrate after all these years, from everything Moses went through to get his people into the promised land and to where we are now, to still see the youth of the Jewish faith still celebrating all of this. It's actually a beautiful thing. I mean, it can be frustrating when you're cleaning up after them, but it's amazing that the heritage is still so important to them, as well as to the Christian faith as well. Because as you see, I'm going through the entire Bible, and now I'm going through the books of Moses, because even though I know that the final sacrifice was made, and I know I'm not Jewish, I still see the importance of the history of it. And to see the youth of today in the Jewish faith, seeing the importance of what their ancestors went through, it's just amazing to me that it is still this important today. And the fact that it was so important that God put it in the Bible as what the Jewish would call the Torah, or the first 5 books of the Bible, or the books of Moses, which, even though most of which don't apply anymore today, some of which do, and I think we know which ones do, even though people want to argue about those, even though they're also in the teachings of Christ in the New Testament. It is still a great history lesson and something we can still learn from, to see where the early worship of God went from, without the resource of Christ being the sacrifice, and there not being all these temples everywhere, and they had to build one out in the wilderness. But stay blessed, stay caffeinated, and never forget to thank God for everything that He has done from way back then to now. And if you ever get a chance to see any of these Jewish celebrations, like I said, they are incredible. And they are some of the nicest people. I mean, when you're going in to check the trash in there, and they're actually in there just talking with you and not getting upset that you're in their way or anything. They're just thanking you for cleaning things out. And I gotta tell you, that brisket actually smelled really good. It's just too bad I was on the clock and couldn't get any, but stay blessed, stay caffeinated, and like I said, if you ever get a chance to observe any of these celebrations, I recommend it. Much love.